How are we going, everybody? Been away from the garden this morning, got back, and even though it was a cool day, got up to about 16, and that's not really warm. It's still a little bit windy. The plants got a good water yesterday, but today they didn't, and they started to dry out again. Now, a couple of things about dehydrated plants and the Brix levels. You can have a high Brix level in a plant, but if you haven't got the moisture running through it, the Brix levels aren't going to be high there, and the plant will become distressed because it's thirsty. It'll start to dehydrate and wilt a little bit. You won't notice it as much with the cabbages and all that, but you'll see it in onions, spring onions. You'll see it in leafy plants like your lettuce. Even the garlic will wilt over if you don't hydrate it properly. Cabbage being quite rigid will hold its shape quite well. Now this stuff here, and you all know it's been growing for a while, and I'm thinking, how much longer can I leave these in, because they've been here for way too long. That's not the big head. The ball here is actually still forming. It's a little bit soft there. This needs a little bit more time, but what we did notice looking around here, and if I can find the leaf again, are aphids. Aphids somehow decided to turn up on this plant. Have a look. Only a small amount, just starting to colonise. I've got to just wipe that off there. Sorry about that. If you want to have a closer look, there's some there. Look at that. Only one or two. Now, yesterday also, while I was out here, because it was warm yesterday, we had a lot of cabbage white butterfly. And I'm talking literally in one day there would have been at least a couple of dozen of these little fellas flying around everywhere, and actually maybe been females too, laying eggs. And today, a day later, now this is coincidence, you want to say it? Look, a hole already. Now, can I get in there and find anything running around? Look, there it is. Damn ya, found ya, there you go. Now that didn't happen overnight, but I tell ya, it doesn't take long for them to come out and take over your garden. Now you can spray them, or you can hand pick them off like this. That was a fluke actually. That wasn't placed there for me to do this little segment. Let me go and have a look at another one over here, because there was another hole here that I noticed, and I'm sure it'll be flying around or crawling around in here somewhere. Look, there's already a couple of holes there. One there, one over here, and slithery line. That could also, wait a second, let's have a look at that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's a slithery line on there. So that's like a little miner going on there, or a snail. So you're getting a couple of different creatures coming through here. Not only that, over here, this one here, let me just, look at this. Snails and slugs, and probably caterpillars too. No, snails and slugs, because you can see the slithering lines there. See that? That's their little tracks that they leave behind. So they've actually got into these. Now these need to be harvested. I've got such, you can eat every little bit of this plant here. Let me just throw these over there. And for those who love caterpillars, well, not anymore. It's my veggie garden. I do whatever I want. Time to harvest, folks. I'm using the same secateurs that took this finger off. So we've got to be very careful. All right. Oh yeah. All right. Bear with me. There we are. The head's in here somewhere. Have a look at that. That's formed beautifully. That's a decent size head there. And we're going to have all the outside leaves too. Make sure there are no caterpillars in here. A little bit of protein's not going to hurt. So time to get these out, folks, one by one. Sauerkraut, stir fry, and all the above is what we're doing with it. And obviously coleslaw. Wow, this thing weighs a ton. 1 second, let me put it down. Yeah, now look out for the grubs in the garden. As soon as we get a change in the weather, you get a warm day, and we're going up to 30 by the end of, the next 5 days. I won't say by the end of this week, next week I should say, we'll be getting up to 28, 30 degrees out here, at least 28, and that's going to be stinking hot for us out here. So this is going to go to the sheep, and you're going to have caterpillars out in full force, snails and slugs, aphids and white fly. Hey, Leia, what are you doing, sweetheart? Good girl. So use natural remedies. Now, a product called Dipel is a good one to use for caterpillars because it's a bacterium that actually feeds off the caterpillars, so it's not a heavy chemical or anything like that that's going to cause any harm to your plants. Or you can just make your own insecticidal spray using olive oil and chili and garlic and things like that. Nowhere near as effective, but still pretty good to control all the sap-sucking insects. And feed your garden, get it ready for the next round. So I'm not going to take all these at once out. Prepare that little garden bed. And when it comes to feeding, and a lot of you are asking where you can get our planting mix, and unfortunately it's not out everywhere. It's on a handful of stores. Go to the planting mix page on our website so you can find out your nearest outlet, or otherwise just get some good quality compost. Get some decent compost if you're not making your own. And when you're top dressing your garden bed, with the compost, get the superfood first, put a handful per square metre, some basic instructions on using these products, handful per square metre of superfood, and the same with the black grit, and then top dress it with the compost, and then put your mulch over the top. So superfood, black grit, compost on top. If you can't get the planting mix, you can still do the same with the planting mix on top, but make sure you get your mulch over the top of that and give it a good drenching with a liquid feed of your favourite. Obviously you know which ones are mine, so you can actually inoculate it and stimulate the bacteria, the microbes that is, to break down and start activating in the soil. So you can grow big, beautiful, luscious plants like this, and you'll find that your plants will love you long term. But again, if you don't do a regular feed, I find that your soil, even though I feed my garden the same way I've just explained to you, if I don't feed it over the course of 3 months, it will deplete. Your plants will grow so fast, they'll suck the life out of the soil, and if you're not topping it up, you'll find your soil becomes a little bit sandy, a little bit inert, and it'll start to dehydrate. Obviously, if you're watering it regularly, maybe not so much on the dehydration, but the nutrient level will deplete. So a regular feed, monthly basis, is a great way to do it. So feed your garden regularly, look out for caterpillars. Lots of different tips because they are territorial, the white butterflies, so you can put eggshells facing up with a couple of black dots inside. You can plant some white pansies in the garden as well. They're great as deterrents, or you can simply just put some insect netting over the top to protect them from landing on there and laying their eggs, because they're like B-52 bombers. They come down, you see them land onto the leaf, you think they're just having a look around, but they're not doing anything with the leaf because they're not eating the leaf. The butterfly goes to the flowers, but it's actually landing to leave a couple of eggs. So if you can see exactly where they land, go straight up to the leaf and have a look. If it's on the underside on top, you may spot a couple of eggs there and simply just squash them. That's a nice way to control it, but you've got to be around there. And my favourite of all, the tennis racket. Practice your backhand and forehand swings on them. It's a lot of fun. Check out our website, vasilisgarden.com. From me, Vasili, Maresi.